Hey YouTube, here to do another movie review, this time on Ant-Man. Going into the movie, I saw a movie review that said it was the best Marvel film since Guardians of the Galaxy, and I actually agree. It is the best Marvel film since Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe ever. It's hard to put it above Iron Man, maybe Avengers 1, but hear me out. Ant-Man is completely different from any Marvel movie. Specifically in the scale, it's not as grandiose as any other Marvel movie. It's very focused on a few characters, actually. Before I jump into any more, there are spoilers ahead. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, tread carefully. Here's the order I'm gonna go in. First, we're gonna talk about what I liked. Second, what I didn't like. And third, how Ant-Man ties into the Marvel Universe moving forward. What I really liked. I liked a lot of things about this movie, but specifically, and as I just mentioned, it's a much smaller world, it's much more character-driven, much more character-focused. It really, really worked for this. Because it's so much more character-focused and character-driven, you have two elements that are now introduced to Marvel movies. First, you have compassion, and second, you have character development that is accelerated into one movie. We see Paul Rudd's character, Scott Lang, and the story is parallel focused on Scott Lang and Hank Pym, who's played by Michael Douglas. And you see them wanting to make a significant change in the world, not only for the world around them, but for their own world. And Michael Douglas, who is the original Ant-Man, enlists Scott Lang not only through necessity because he needs a thief to save the world, he's also choosing Scott Lang as a redemption factor. Because he, with what Michael Douglas can do, can restore Scott Lang's family, which Michael Douglas is also trying to do with his daughter. That's all I'll say about that. But it really works for the story. It really drives the film. And it's not forced at all. It's not like those out of place scenes like the one in Captain America Winter Soldier, where Captain America is with Peggy Carter. It's you're there with them. What I also really liked about this film, and this may do it better than Iron Man, may even do it better than Star-Lord, is the comedy. Paul Rudd as Scott Lang is hilarious. And I forget his first name, but Pena, who is the actor's name, Pena, who is Scott Lang's sidekick guy, hilarious. I won't spoil anything about the comedy he provides, but I will say you need to see the movie and expect great things from Pena. And the action sequences, the macro photography of it, fantastic. It looked better. Really, really looked better than any other Marvel film when it came to special effects. I'm not kidding about that. I'm really not kidding. They really did not. They went to small scale and made it look gigantic, and it really worked for this movie. This movie also ties in very nicely with all the other Marvel films. I'll get to that in the third part. But first, before we get there, second part, what I didn't like. The villain, like most Marvel films, he's not a good villain. But the circumstance, the weight of what he's trying to do, and how, well, I'll just spoil it since this is a spoiler review. This guy is trying to sell the Ant-Man technology, the pin particles, to Hydra. he himself is he is a Yellow Jacket, and Yellow Jacket, like him, I forget, I don't even know his name. But he was Hank Pym's protege in the 80s or 90s, and now he's taken over the company, and he's kind of gone crazy, and it's not really explained, but there, Hope, who is Hank Pym's daughter, kind of says, like, the pin particles are making you crazy, which is actually true in the comics. Hank Pym has been driven crazy by the pin particles. But, I wish they really went into that more, into why this villain is so evil. But they didn't, and it was lackluster. But the whole scale and scope of everything, it made up for it. And I also really didn't like, there was a lot of Deus Ex Machina, like, by the act of God. There's a lot of, like, all of a sudden this is here and now it's gone. But it was seamless enough as to where it doesn't ruin the movie. Okay, now on to third part, how Ant-Man ties into the Marvel Universe. Okay, again, if you haven't seen the movie yet, and if you don't want anything ruined, please go away now. I'll talk about 2 post-credit scenes. First post-credit scene is Michael Douglas bringing his daughter Hope to a safe, and opens up the safe, and there is the Wasp costume. Backstory a bit. Well, Ant-Man lost his wife, Janet Van Dyne, the original Wasp. Lost her to her having to go into subparticle size to blow up an intercontinental ballistic missile, and she couldn't reverse it, so she literally went into quantum space and never came back. So that's why Hank is holding on to building the Wasp suit for his daughter. But Wasp is going to be in the Marvel Universe now, so I'm really excited for that, because Hope Van Dyne really fits, and Paul Rudd really fits at the end of the movie. Falcon is looking for Hank Pym, and he's looking for Scott Lang, and you think that it's because the Avengers are just trying to build a team, but then you stay for the post-credit scene, and then at the end of the movie, it cuts to Captain America. At the end of the credits, cuts to Captain America, who has immobilized Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, and in walks Falcon, like, oh, we need help, just call Tony. And Captain America is like, we can't call Tony. And then Falcon's like, well, I know a guy. So now we know the roster. The roster currently, as it currently stands, at least for one of the teams, is Captain America, Falcon, maybe Winter Soldier, and Ant-Man on one side of the Marvel Civil War. Does that mean that War Machine, maybe Iron Man, Black Widow, Vision, and Scarlet Witch, does that mean it's them versus them? I don't know. I feel like there's going to be some people in the middle, like Hawkeye is going to be not on either side. I think Nick Fury is going to be like, F this, I'm out of this. Yeah, so really excited. Ant-Man's going to fit in very well to the new Marvel Universe. And I can't emphasize enough how good Paul Rudd is as Scott Lang. And he's totally going to fit into the Marvel Universe. Because, in closing, he is the perfect reluctant hero. He really doesn't want to be a hero. He wants just a normal life, and he wants his family back together. He wants to, doesn't want any part in crime or superhero fighting. He just wants a normal life. But he keeps getting thrust into it. and it really works for this. And in closing, see Ant-Man. You have to see Ant-Man because it's a really good movie. That's Marvel, and it's fresh. It's new. It doesn't feel like Marvel. It is more fresh and new than Guardians of the Galaxy was because you still have the huge scale of everything. It's fresh, and honestly, talk about Marvel really quick. I was really disappointed with Avengers 2 because it's cluttered. It's just there's too much stuff. But Ant-Man, it's not cluttered at all. It's very clean cut. It's very direct, to the point. You get it. When you see the movie, it's not too much going on. There's not even too much tie-in. It's awesome. It's an awesome movie. Just watch it. Here's my score. Ready? A-. That's right. I scored this higher than Jurassic World because it is a really good movie. You need to see it. Catch you guys next time.